Hi, I'm Troy Siahan, and this is the Motorcycle.com 250 Shootout. Alrighty, so, according to me, this here, the 250 Shootout for Mo, is the most important bike test we'll ever do until the next one. But why is that? That's because this Ninja 250 is Kawasaki's best-selling motorcycle, on-road or off, for the past probably 5 years or so, which just puts how much emphasis there is on the quarter-liter class. It's about time that now Honda has come out with the CBR250R to go in direct competition with the Ninja, after the Ninja has had, I don't know, more than 20-year stranglehold on the beginner bike class. But another bike we brought in the scene is the Hyosung GT250. V-twin 250, air-cooled, fuel-injected. The one we have here is the naked model. The R version is usually the one with the full fairing. But we're here to test all three bikes to see how they stack up and just how much fun they really are and what the beginner should be aware of when they're looking for a new bike. So, let's start off with the Hyosung. It's the only one in the bunch with an upside-down fork, which is a nice little feature. Compared to the other two, this bike has the most, I guess you call it, big bike feel to it. It feels like, you know, a bigger bike, you know, 650, a 600, something along those lines. Off the bat, you know, we kind of downplayed this bike, thinking, you know, it's air-cooled, it's a Korean bike, it's not up to par with the Japanese. But after riding it, you know, we were thoroughly impressed with just how far Hyosung has come with the GT250. The engine makes about 24 horse, which is 2 more than the CBR and about 2 less than the Ninja. So it's right in the middle, torque-wise, same thing, right in the middle. And for an air-cooled engine, it competes just with the same likeness as the Honda and the Kawasaki. There's a lot of really modern features you would normally see on bigger bikes on this Hyosung, but when it comes down to it, there are just some things that doesn't quite stack up. Handling-wise, it's not quite on par. The bias ply Shinko tires are just, you know, a cut below the Bridgestones on the Kawasaki and the Honda. Low RPM fueling is a bit spotty, even though there is fuel injected. It's a little bit spotty when you want to get on it down low. Vibration-wise, all three of this bike vibrate, but this one probably has the most, which is not a lot compared to all three of them, but you can probably feel it the most on this one. Yeah, just the fit and finish just kind of seems a little bit below par on the Hyosung, which is not to say that they're not going to fix that later and come out better than ever in the years to come. So here it is, the Kawasaki Ninja 250R, the cream of the crop, the standard bearer, if you will, of the quarter-liter beginner bike class. What's not to love about this bike? I mean, it's such a friendly motorcycle for the new rider. I mean, it's so small, compact, low seat height, everything. It's so easy to ride. But the more we thought about it, the more we thought about how much we liked the bike, only because it was the only game in town. And so this comparison really brought to light, you know, things that could be different or better about the Kawasaki. But let's start off with the good. The good, low seat height, like I said, easy to ride, easy power to manage. Oddly enough, this bike still has carburetors. The European version, like otherwise, has fuel injection. Why that is, we don't know. These two bikes have fuel injection. This one doesn't. In the morning, you're still fumbling with the choke lever, playing with the throttle to make it start in the morning. Why is it there? It's beyond us. Once you're rolling, though, around the canyons or just down the highway or just going to school or whatever you're doing, the fueling's pretty good. I mean, you can tell a difference between the fuel injection, the carburetors, whatever. But it's just one of those things, you know, it's 2011. Why are there still carbs on bikes? Beats us. But that being said, let's go back to the good. Brakes are great, power is great. This makes the most horsepower in the class. I believe it's about 26. Torque-wise, it's about probably the lowest of the bunch, but it's because the parallel twin engine is best suited for high horsepower and not torque. We romped around the canyons with these three bikes, and you know, when you're really on it, you really see that the horsepower difference on this makes a huge difference compared to those two. As you know, these two bikes, you're full throttle trying to catch up to this bike, it's just pulling away. But for the beginner, probably won't make much of a difference. Handling wise, you know, what more can you ask for? It's just a tried and true machine. Turn-in is great, stability is great. It's nice and nimble on its side, or you know, from going side to side, it's all good. The Bridgestone Road Winner tires do an admirable job of holding the road, and really it fills all the needs that a new rider could ask for. It doesn't have ABS. The Honda does have ABS, though it is an option. For $39.99, you really can't go wrong at that price. Like I said earlier, the Hyosung is $35.99, but the fit and finish and the overall quality of the Kawasaki kind of trumps the $500 price tag difference between the two. For us though, we just weren't a big fan of the carburation of this thing. Doesn't make sense, especially in this day and age, and overall it just feels buzzy on the highways, and we're wringing its neck to make it go anywhere in the you know, city roads when we're trying to go from point A to point B, running errands, going to school, going to work, whatever. In real world situations, this is just sometimes can be just kind of an inconvenience at times, and you feel like you're going to break the thing because you're always revving it to the moon. And so we'd hate to do it, but we have to rate the Kawasaki Ninja 250 second place. The new player in 2011, the Honda CBR250R. Well, it's a little, you know, as the saying goes, better late than never, and it's about time Honda came out with a 250 for the US market. Well, now it's for the world market, but yeah, just looking at this bike, it just looks smaller than the Ninja, and it is. And sitting on it, you know, you can touch the ground with your flat footing the ground easily. It's narrower because it's only a single cylinder engine, which produces the most torque in this bunch, although the least horsepower. And really, when you're, you know, commuting around town, torque is what you need, and this is the bike to have, because get on it, the fuel injection is crisp, smooth, you just twist it and you go, there's no hesitation, no nothing. And for the new rider, you know, sitting on this bike and riding this bike, it just feels more nimble, more light, and it's because this bike is about 20 pounds lighter than the Kawasaki. Now this particular bike, has combined ABS, which adds about 8 pounds to that, so still less than the Kawasaki, and it's still noticeable. And what the combined ABS means is that when you tap the rear brake lever, the rear brake comes on, and two pistons on the front brake come on as well. When you pull the front brake lever, just the front comes on, the rear stays put. For me, I noticed that when you tap the rear brake, it kind of makes the front end squat down a little bit, and for someone who's never ridden before, which is who this bike is aimed towards, you probably won't know a difference, but once you move up to another bigger bike, and you tap the rear brake, you know, the bike is supposed to squat down, and the sensation you get will be different. It's not a big deal, you'll overcome that pretty easily, but it's something to be aware of. We really like how nimble this bike is. Flips over from side to side really easily. Traction is great, you know, it's stable on its side, turn-in is awesome. Like I said earlier, the single cylinder engine produces a ton of torque, but it lacks horsepower, the lowest in this group, and you can really feel that, especially on the freeway when you're just trying to get up to freeway speeds. You know, you're holding the throttle wide open for a while before you can get up to 65, 75, 80, whatever you do on the freeway. But it'll get there, And surprisingly enough, when you are there, the vibrations on this thing are really mellow, almost non-existent, and it's a very comfortable bike. And overall, we just really love how user-friendly it is for the beginner rider, for the intermediate rider, for the expert rider. It costs the same as a Ninja, $39.99. The ABS adds $500 to that price. Honestly, for a new rider, it's worth it. You can save yourself from being in a lot of jams that way. And for us, you know, it's the lightest, it's the most user-friendly, and for those reasons, we have to call the Honda CBR250R the winner of our 250 shootout.